I started officiating in about 1983, 1984, and mostly college matches, and worked throughout the Midwest. Mostly I could travel to, there was 4 or 5 Big Ten schools that were within of like a 5-hour driving distance, and 2 or 3 Big 12 schools, which back then was the Big 8, I guess, and just worked my way up through the years. Probably in the after refereeing about 10 or 12 years in the mid-1990s is when I got more involved in doing the conference tournaments for the Pac-10 and the Big Ten Conference, and also working the National Dual Meet Championships, and then ultimately started working the Division I National Championships in 1996. And had the privilege of working the Big Ten Conference tournament for 12 consecutive years, and they rotate from each school, so I got to work once at every school, which was kind of a goal of mine, to be able to work once at every school, and as long as they'd keep hiring me back, I figured I'd be able to do that. And I also worked the Pac-10 Conference for about 10 or 12 years, rotating around to different schools there. The NCAA Division I tournament, of course, for a college official, that was the ultimate, to get to work the NCAA Division I National Tournament. I had the honor and privilege of being the head official on a finals match for 5 Division I National Tournament Championship finals. And of course that was probably the biggest thrill for me, to be able to work those finals in the Division I Nationals throughout that 24-year officiating career. The rules over the years obviously have been tweaked and changed in college wrestling. You know, they try to get them, you know, obviously the best they can. I don't think they've really changed a lot. You know, the style of wrestling still, you know, is pretty much the same. It's, you know, a lot of wrestling on the feet. You know, the defense, I think, has gotten better over the years. You know, the scrambling in the last, you know, 5 to 10 years has changed, with guys diving through the legs. You know, that's made it, I think, more challenging for the officials. You have to be a little bit more patient. You can't make, you know, quick calls because of, you know, the way they roll around, and some of the so-called funk they use and the scrambling they use. But overall, you know, it's still wrestling. You know, the officials out there to award points, and, you know, not, you know, try to get involved in the match any more than they have to. Refereeing, to most, I think, wrestling officials, it's not about, you know, making a bunch of money. You know, you do it for the love of the sport, and you do it to give back to the sport, and you do it to stay involved in the sport. I wrestled in high school at Waterloo Columbus High School, and made it to the state tournament my senior year in high school, and lost in the finals. And so it was not a huge success as a high school wrestler, but I wanted to continue in college wrestling, and had the opportunity to wrestle at the University of Iowa, and went there in fall of 1972, and ended up becoming a 4-year starter at the University of Iowa, and had quite a successful college career, coached by head coach Gary Kurlmeyer and assistant coach Dan Gable, who both, you know, had a huge influence on helping me improve as a wrestler and as a person. I ended up becoming a 2-time national champion at the University of Iowa, and also the outstanding wrestler my senior year at the NCAA championships in 1976. And from there, I wrestled internationally for several years, up until 1980. I was a member of both the 1977 and 1979 world teams. And then ultimately, my biggest accomplishment was making the 1980 United States Olympic freestyle team, which of course we boycotted the games in 1980, which was a huge disappointment for everybody involved in the 1980 Olympics. Wrestling is a great sport to learn a lot of life's lessons. You know, I felt, for me, you know, I got an awful lot out of it, in the fact that it showed that you could work hard and it would pay off. You know, the dedication and the hard work, the harder you worked and the more dedicated you were, the more successful you were, and that translates to everything in life. Going into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is just a tremendous honor for me. I mean, it's not something that you think of, you know, as you're a competitor, or as you're an official, that, you know, someday I hope I get into the Hall of Fame. But once they contact you and let you know that you're getting this award to be a lifetime achievement for officials into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, it just means so much. It's, you know, it's something that there's many people ahead of you have gone into the Hall of Fame, and you're getting your name in there with the greats in the sport, and makes you feel really good about what you did for the sport and what you gave to the sport, that you're being honored with an achievement to go into the National Hall of Fame. Just hard to put it in words. It's just, just a tremendous, tremendous honor, and very humbling to me to get this honor.